We're good now? What's up, guys, and welcome to episode 21 of Skins in the Game. Some technical difficulties to start off the show, but wait. What can you do? How you doing today, Dad?
I'm here. It wasn't as fun as last week, I will say that, but I'm here.
It wasn't as fun as last week. Yeah, this week was a bit rougher. We thought we had him right where we want him at 17-0, but that did not end up good in our favor this time. So what are you going to do? But we have a bunch of good stuff. So go ahead and give me your overview for the day. We'll start with that. What you got? How'd you feel about Sunday's game?
I thought the defense played well enough to win that game. I think the offense has its problems. I think they got a little bit better as the game went on, but the first quarter with 2 turnovers, one at the 9-yard line after Landon Collins' interception, and then another one where Steve Sims muffed the punt and where we would have had it on our 45, and we didn't capitalize. I believe that on the first turnover it was only 7-0. We should have scored there and at least a field goal. Mm-hmm. And then the other one, I mean, you give them the ball in their territory, and not only that, now the defense who just held them and thinks they get a little break are right back out on the field, and that's got to be disheartening. But like I said, I think we can go on in more detail about players, but I think the defense played well enough to win that game, and that the offense, I'll use the pun or the analogy of they dropped the ball, which literally they did.
Twice. So, yeah. Well, one I guess you would say is special teams, but Steve Sims is a really good special teams player for us, or a really good offensive player for us as well. So you could say it was also him.
You're right. I meant I meant the other teams besides the defense are what screwed this game up.
Fair enough. Yep, I got some good and some bad. Feel free to interrupt me throughout.
Don't worry, I will.
McLaurin is a beast. All right. 7 catches on 10 targets, 125 yards, and a touchdown. He looked good doing it. A lot of missed tackles, a lot of fighting for extra yards. That touchdown was a beautiful one where he kind of zigzagged through the defense to find the end zone. McLaurin was definitely on the top of the good list. 125 yards and a touchdown. You're going to be on the good list pretty much every time coming out of the receiving position.
Yep.
I liked what I saw about Antonio Gibson. What did you think about Antonio Gibson's day? I went back and watched more of the game, and I liked it even more the second time.
Yeah, I think he's dynamic. I think as so many of our young players, you have to say that he has potential, but I think he's got good vision, and 13 carries for 55 yards is not bad at all.
Yeah.
So,
his first run, I think he missed a cutback. There was a zone run to the right, and if he would have cut it back inside, he still would have got tackled because Wes Martin ended up missing a block, but he didn't know that at the time. I think he saw like a small little opening, but what happened was that the red shirts of the Cardinals were on the right side of our offensive linemen. There was 2 of them, which means you should cut that back, because if you see the red on the right side, then cut it back and you'll get it there. But he ended up thinking he could hit this gap, a small gap, and it ended up closing immediately. But I think if he would have came back on that one, he was good. But after that, he had some crazy runs. 158, their linebacker for the Cardinals, read the freaking play beautifully, right there in the hole. We had nobody there to block him. Everybody else was blocking somebody else. And he just does a jump cut and completely makes this dude miss. He was silly, and he ends up getting like a 6-yard run out of something that should have been a negative 2-yard play. Another one, he saw a crashing outside linebacker, I believe, just ran right up into the back of our offensive lineman, let the guy miss him behind him, bounces it out for a 9-yard run. He had another, I can't describe the other one, but I know there was at least one more where he made a guy miss in the backfield right after he got the ball. And then there was another one where Teron Christian just never blocked anybody. and he ends up shedding that tackle. If Jerron Christian gets a hand on this guy just to slow him down at all, that could have been a much bigger play. I think he ended up getting like 6-7 yards on that play as well. I liked a lot out of what I saw. He keeps his feet moving. That touchdown was good. He had another run. So I like what I saw out of Antonio Gibson. I put him on my good list. And
Yep.
I said we should run the ball in my 5 things we need to do to beat the Cardinals. And I think we ran pretty effectively. We just got so far behind so quickly, we couldn't rely on the run anymore. So
Well, they got over 100 yards with the 2 running backs. They got over 100 yards rushing, so that's not terrible.
J.D. McKissick looks pretty good, too. He could have been on my good list. I didn't put him there, but I didn't have a lot on my good list, to be honest. I only have a couple more. It was not a good day on Sunday. The interception by Collins, fantastic. Overthrow. He was there in the right position. Got a big turnover when we need it.
Read it perfectly, and we should have gotten points off of that.
100% agree. And then the last thing on my good list is Haskins, through 2 games, has yet to throw an interception. I can't complain about that. That's nice.
That's how inaccurate he is that he can't. He not only misses his guy, he misses the defense too.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't care how he did it. He did throw one right into the defensive hands against Philly, but this week he did not throw anything that should have been picked off, which was nice. I went back and watched a lot of the plays, and I didn't see anything that should have been picked off. But that is the extent of my good so far from this game.
I heard that Ron Rivera was saying, I heard his comments about Haskins, and he said he wants to see him get off to a quicker start in the game. That he said he reads the defense well, but he said he hasn't figured it out yet whether he's going through his progressions too quick and then hesitating. But he said that he seemed to think it was something that was fixable. But basically, he was like, he's going through his progressions. Just the timing of going through those progressions are not right. So he's got to work on that. So, but he seemed, and of course, Ron Rivera is going to talk the company line anyway. So he's not going to say, "Oh, Haskins is terrible," but he seemed to be indicating that it was something that he didn't seem overly concerned about it. I think, like I said, the reading his progressions were good. It's just his timing of when to make the decision is off. So we'll see.
The chat's saying we played like some simps, which is a internet term for not very good.
Yeah, I know. I know I'm old, but I get that one.
There you go. But now we're on to the bad. We're on over to the bad. And it starts up front. Our offensive line was not very good. I already talked about a missed block by Wes Martin. I already talked about a complete whiff by Jerron Christian. Our one turnover was not Haskins' fault.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. I promise you. I went back and watched it. Brandon Sheriff completely let the dude run right by him. Inside. He lined up in front of him. It was one-on-one block, and Brandon Sheriff, he may as well not have been standing there. The guy just did a quick swim move and got right to Haskins, and he went to cock back and throw, and he got a hand on it. Brandon Sheriff. No, it was like a side swipe, basically. But it's Brandon Sheriff completely whiffed the block there.
Okay, but I still say that. Okay, but Haskins has got to understand pressure and not leave the ball. I mean, yeah, he had the ball out and then he cocks his arm to throw, and I saw it that the guy came from behind and hit it on the back, but it might have been more from the side. I'm not going to argue that, but yeah. I think that is Haskins needs to understand in those particular situations to understand your surroundings and learn to feel pressure. And I don't think he feels it. And a lot of the great quarterbacks will feel that and not either do a quick snap of the arm as opposed to bringing it behind him. But he's got to know the guy's coming from the side and know, hey, don't leave the ball dangling out. I'm not saying that Sheriff didn't miss a block. Don't get me wrong.
Sheriff missed the block.
Yeah,
it was bad.
Like I said, I'm not saying he didn't, but that is Haskins' fault for not just wrapping the ball up. You're on their 9-yard line. Take a sack, live to do another down, not try to do something too late. Okay, your guy missed the block, eat it. And he stuck it out there and got it knocked out. And I think that's
I think you're being harsh. Okay, because he had a quick read. He was gonna throw it quick. It was within 2 seconds. I mean, the defensive lineman, as I said, Sheriff may as well not have been there. It was that quick. It was literally a quick swim move, and he's there, and he swipes the ball, and he gets a hold, gets it out. Which it ended up being picked off. Some people were like, "Oh, his arm was going forward," which it wasn't. But even if it was going forward, it was caught in the air, so there was no help.
If I remember correctly, and again, maybe my recollection is wrong, but if I remember correctly, Haskins took a step up into the pocket, maybe because he saw that guy or saw that out of his peripheral vision, but he took a short step up in the pocket and then tried to throw the ball. And that's why I was thinking that it wasn't just Haskins standing back there blindsided in 2 seconds. He saw something and took a step up because of it, but still tried to throw the ball. And I just think, again, it'll come. If it's going to come at all, it'll come with experience.
Yeah.
That he needs to understand there's a guy there. Don't stick the ball out there and try to do something. That's like they said.
You hate the turnover there. You do. You hate the turnover there, but I promise you, Sheriff was 90-something% to blame. There's some small stuff that Haskins can correct and maybe could protect the ball, but you weren't getting much out of that play because Brandon Sheriff missed that block.
Oh, no. I say the best case scenario out of that was a sack. I'm not saying he was going to get anything. He wasn't. I'm not saying he shouldn't have been able to escape or do anything else. It was a blown, you can call it a blown play, and he should have known that and just tucked the ball down and taken it and been on their 9-yard line. And it's like, okay, now was it third down? I think that was a second down play. Maybe I'm wrong, but or you take the field goal, but you don't turn it over inside their 10-yard line like that. You just eat it.
Okay, I think you're being harsh, but that is what it is. We'll leave it there.
It was a busted play. I know that.
All right.
I ain't arguing.
The next bad thing was I said my number one thing to beat the Cardinals was to contain Murray, and we didn't do that. Murray had 8 carries, 67 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That number could have been 3 touchdowns because we ended up getting lucky with the holding call on the tight end to prevent that would have been the first, but prevent 3 rushing touchdowns. But we did not contain Murray. Murray was able to run around all over the place. We got to him 3 times for 8 yards, which even with 3 sacks, you would like to see that more. But that's mostly because he's able to get close to the line of scrimmage because he's so good with his legs. So we did not contain Murray. We got some pressure on him, though. I will say that. Like, we were around him a lot. But he's just so good where he could just get away from our defensive line. Get away from any defensive line, really. It's not just ours, but he's so good.
Well, and if I can just say one more thing about the fumble after the interception, and again, I could be wrong. I'm not arguing he is a talent, but
real quick, Dad, Lonely Fire Nation captain. Haskins' problem is that he hasn't posted any shirtless pictures of him recently on Instagram, so his rhythm isn't there.
I like it. But what I was going to say is, had that interception resulted in the Redskins scoring, and it was either going to be 7-3 or 7-7, possibly, but let's say 7-3, then maybe that gets into Murray's head a little bit more than it did. But it didn't cost him anything, and I think that made it easier for him to just forget about it. So
the interception, yeah, that's probably fair. He was throwing the ball good too. Murray was amazing. My bad list is Steven Sims in the return game. He was bad in the return game. Starting right with the opening kickoff. You have a ball that's within the numbers and the sidelines at about the 12-yard line.
Going out at an outward angle.
Well, I kind of went back and watched. It's kind of hard to tell exactly which angle. It may have bounced into the end zone, but I don't care. Give it a chance. Maybe it takes a bad bounce out of bounds, and you're on the 40. Otherwise, it comes back, and it's a touchback. Oh, well.
And you get it on the 25. Better than where he ended up.
Exactly. So I think that was a bad play. Obviously, it also is terrible that he fumbled the ball. It was not a muff punt. I couldn't remember that either, but I actually went back and watched. He actually did catch it clean, but it was a weird tackle where the guy got him on the arm, and he almost kept it, but then right before he hit the ground, he lost it. So it wasn't a muff punt, which is good.
You're right. He actually gained some yards on that. I'm sorry. My bad. You're right.
Yeah.
I do recall now he was trying to, and I think he was trying to get a couple extra yards too. But
Yep. No, it was. But he also took it out of the end zone way too many times where he wouldn't get it. He never got back to the 25 on any of the kickoffs, I believe. Like it was every time he got the ball and took it out, we had either no blocking or he did too much dancing or didn't hit any of the holes that were open. So Steven Sims, I like him in the return game. I think he's a decent kick returner, but he had a bad day coming in on our bad list.
And that drives me crazy across the league, that if you are 2 yards deep in the end zone, unless you are like a Devin Hester or someone that I think there was a couple guys, I can't think of the one guy that's just lightning fast, and he took it out of the end zone and got it up to like the 35 or 40 because he's just that fast. But I want to see the overwhelming majority of return men that if they kick it into the end zone more than a half a yard or a couple yards, to just kneel on it and take the 25. I mean, you have to do a lot of work to get back to the 25. So to your point, it frustrates me across the league to watch guys. And I know they're thinking, oh, I'm going to break something loose. And they run out and they get it to the 18 or to the 17 or sometimes to the 20. And it's like, dude, you could have just let it go and you would have gotten the 25. So.
For sure. No, it was. Sorry, I'm getting rid of somebody somebody was posting some weird crap in the chat. But no, I agree. He took way too many out, and you would like to see more touchbacks, or at least like if you're going to do it every once in a while, get closer. He was barely getting to the 20, let alone to the 25.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I know.
Courtney wants to know what kind of wine you drink.
Oh, it's Chardonnay.
Chardonnay. That's what
I always do this because I started the first night. It's not the only thing I drink, but it's a tradition that started. So Tim told me I wasn't allowed to break it, so I'm going with it. Plus, I sip it. So as opposed to other stuff that I drink faster. So it's
Dylan Zipper, I want to see Gibson get a shot at returns. I know they want to save his snaps for offense, but he has had some good plays at Memphis there. I lean to the side of I want to keep that guy with the least amount of hits, but at the same time, Pittsburgh did it with Antonio Brown, one of the best receivers in the game, and he put him back there on punts, and he was extremely good. So I'm not going to say no, Dylan. Dylan Zipper said that. I'm not going to say no. I don't mind that call too much, but I do want I think he's going to be our legit starting running back because I like a lot what he sees. So putting your starting, it's like putting Christian McCaffrey, or not that he's that level, but putting one of your best offensive players, offensive weapons on kick return is a little bit sketchy to me. So I lean towards no. I do not want Gibson.
Well, and let me ask you this, and this is an honest question. I'm not sure. What is Gibson's speed like?
Oh, 4.39, I think he ran.
So he's 40. Enough to be a return man.
Oh yeah, he's got big playability. Big playability. Let's see here. All right, the next bad on my list is Landon Collins' first drive was pretty abysmal. He got scored on twice. Okay, yeah. It was bad. He got made look silly by Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray put him on the skates. Then he just lets Hopkins run free in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. But early in the drive, he also had a penalty for defensive holding. The defensive pass interference was defensive holding, which honestly shouldn't have been called, but still, it's a bad look. But he did come back and get that interception the very next drive, so I can give him a little bit of leeway, but that first drive was as bad as you can get.
Hey, you need a little time to settle in.
Yeah, exactly. The next bad is time of possession. We lost the time of possession battle 34-26. And honestly, Haskins let too many third downs stall. And I got a bunch of them listed here. On the first drive, he had 3rd and 7. He overthrows Thomas on deep right. 3rd and 2, he misses Inman by throwing it into the dirt. Not good. 3rd and 2, he misses Thomas going across the field to the left. Has him open, throws it too far, high and outside. Thomas couldn't get a catch. 3rd and 2, Inman again is going this time from left to right, misses the receiver on that one on a quick 3rd and 2. It did get a penalty. It ended up being a penalized play anyway, but they were able to decline it. We punted away. If you get that first down, it becomes a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 7, and maybe we could go back and get the 3rd and 7, but instead he completely misses them. And then the last one is 3rd and 6 to Thomas for a touchdown. He overthrew Thomas in the end zone. Him and Thomas did not seem to be on a good page, especially on 3rd down, which is unfortunate. He's going to have to look for someone else other than Logan Thomas on 3rd down.
Well, and I just wanted to say, I think this is a testament too about my point earlier about the defense that, okay, the defense allowed 14 points in the first quarter. They also, our offense or our team, special teams, whatever, gave up 2 turnovers, 1 in our territory, and the Cardinals still only scored 14 points. And then you add on to that, and I know it always has something to do with, the last drive they took 6 minutes off the clock and still got a touchdown. I think that the defense, because of the time on the field, might have been gassed, but it's also what?
All right, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that they allowed 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and then only allowed 16 points after that against a team that, with a dynamic quarterback, with a guy that's top 5 receiver in the league, and almost 8 minutes more time of possession than us, so they were out on the field a lot, and yet they were still only able to score 16 points. And I'm not so sure that last touchdown wasn't a little bit of the defense going, okay, they're up by 10, I think it was 10 or 9, whatever the score was, and maybe they're taking their heart out of the game a little bit. But so all in all, with those stats, that the defense was on the field a lot, and yet they only, after those first 2 scores, they held them to 16 points for the last 3 quarters of the game. I thought that was something to note.
Yeah, Lee's from the Vine agrees with you. He says, I wish defense could play both sides of the ball. Chase Young for quarterback. Chase Young for quarterback.
Sign me up.
Let's start the campaign. All right, last 2 things on my bad list is Haskins took a sack that got us out of field goal range before halftime. I hate that. I don't know what he was thinking. He put the ball down and decided he's going to try to run, throw the ball away, throw it out of bounds, do something. Do not let us out of field goal range. Kills us. Yeah. That could have been 17-3 instead it was, or 20-3 instead it's 20-0 at halftime. Still, it's not a good situation either way, but you would like the 3 points. All right.
Oh, yeah.
And my last thing is Sheriff goes on IR with a knee injury, expected to miss at least 3 to 5 weeks. Rough. With IR, you're minimum out for 3 weeks, but due to his injury, he could be up to 5 weeks.
Right.
With the knee, which stinks, but at the same time, it's not as bad as we potentially had thought it was going to be.
Right. Well, and he's had a history of injuries, and I know playing in the trenches, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But he's missed some time over the years. I don't have the exact stats, but I know that he's gotten injured several times. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's his fault that he gets a knee injury.
He got rolled up on. Yeah, he got rolled up on.
I mean, when you're tangling with 300+ pound guys, and then you have other guys that are rolling up on you while you're dealing with other guys, I can't really say, gee, he's got to do better. I mean, I'm not blaming it on it. But
yeah. Yep. But overall, this game was Murray is a beast. Kyler Murray is a monster. But, Spoiled Avid Gaming. Yep, he said, what's up, guys? Hope you guys are having a good day. Well, we could have had a better day like last Tuesday when we're talking about a win, but our team unfortunately lost. I believe he was a Saints fan. We talked last night during the game. So we both are struggling this week. We both have a loss after a win week 1.
Yeah, so I hope he detects a little sadness in our voice. So
yep.
There's not so much wind in our sails right now, but
for sure. Let's see. Did I have anything else?
But hold on. Let's talk about Murray here a little bit. And I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. Please don't mistake it for that.
Yep.
But if we had a competent offense, I think we had a legitimate chance of, well, certainly making a game of it and potentially coming out of there with the win. If our offense could hold the ball, if they could have even maybe gotten half of the third downs that you said they missed and kept drives alive and actually scored when they get the ball on the 20, that I think that, so I think I'm afraid of what Patrick Mahomes is going to do to us later this year. You
mean Lamar Jackson?
No. We're playing Kansas City too, right? I thought we were.
No, we don't play Kansas City this year.
Why did I think we were playing Kansas City?
No, we have the Ravens division. We have the Ravens division this year. We have Ravens, Pittsburgh, Browns, and Bengals. That's the AFC division we're playing this week. But no, we play Lamar Jackson in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought we played KC, but in any event, Lamar Jackson's no picnic either. But I still say what I've said before is that we need this defense to hold us until the offense can find its rhythm, if it can. I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but let's say that Haskins is going to get better, that if this defense can hold us until that happens, then we have a chance to be decent. But this game was an indication of that our offense was simply not inept. I don't think that's the right word. Just there's no dynamic quality to them. You don't get this feeling of like, okay, something's good is going to happen. And I don't know if Scott Turner is being tentative. I know he likes a lot of motion, but I just don't see a lot of.
Yeah, well, Haskins is really not holding on to the ball long enough to get the big play sometimes. He had Terry McLaurin on one play. I remember watching the film where Terry McLaurin was open and the safety was in the middle of the field and it was a corner route. The safety was not going to be able to get there, but he ends up holding the ball and then kind of going to the left, ends up taking a sack. It's like if he just launches that ball up there for Terry McLaurin had the dude beat. He was behind him and he could have gone up and got that ball, but it's like he doesn't trust his eyes yet. He doesn't. If it's the play, I think he's struggling to throw receivers open, which is something I did not like about him in college. Because as I said before, that his highlights at Ohio State is a bunch of receivers running 10 yards open. It's not a lot of throwing people open or tight window throws. It's a lot of throwing to open people. So he still is learning, in my opinion, to throw someone open, throw into tighter windows. And that's something huge. And that's why one of the reasons I did not want to draft him in the first round is because that's what I saw. And it seems like that's what's coming out of it so far early in the season. He's not trusting his receivers to run the right route to get open.
Right. Maybe that's what Rivera was referring to by saying that he was too quick. Like maybe he's running, instead of staying on a progression a little longer to see, like, okay, my first guy's not open. What is the second guy doing? Give him a little bit of time to do something, but he's going 1, 2, 3, 4, then throwing and is not going fast, or he's going through his progressions too fast.
That might
and
be
therefore
it.
missing the Terry McLaurin open
deep downfield
potential. Yeah.
For sure. That's very possible. All right. I think it's about time to wrap this game up. I just wanted to ask you one last thing about this game. Do you feel like Ron Rivera gave up on this team for this game, not overall, but for this game, by not using his timeouts late in that game down by 12?
Yeah, that's a good question.
He pretty much just let the clock run out.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to argue. I don't know. I can't get in his head to know what he was thinking, but yeah, that's peculiar. I mean, maybe, well, what's the logic between why go into at the end of the game with leftover timeouts regardless?
Yeah, but, and the last play of the game was a run play that killed. He ran the ball and let the clock run out. And he basically let 2.5 minutes run off the clock by not calling any timeouts at the end of the game.
But wasn't that when we were down 30-15, though?
Well, okay, so it's still 2 scores. You could get 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, And you're right. He might have decided, okay, let's take our loss and not potentially hurt anybody. I don't, who knows? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I bring up the question, but not really to disparage anybody. I didn't expect to win this game. I don't know if Rivera wanted to win this game, and I think he had expected his team to perform better than they did. But I think it's like, all right, we're a building team. Let's not get anybody hurt in this garbage time, and let's just go into this game. We'll learn from it. We put plenty on film, and we could come out next week and play better.
Yep.
So I don't ask that question to say that.
No. I get what you're
wrong.
saying. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to say anything else other than he conceded the game at that point by not using his timeouts. I mean, how can you think anything? There's no other reason to think that he would not use them unless he was just like, let's let this game get over with and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Spoiled AFib Gaming says Haskins need to sit behind a vet for a year to learn because he's showing being a rookie. I would love that to be able to happen, but we don't have a veteran QB, so he's got to play and he's got to learn on the field.
You know what? We were actually talking on Sunday about Alex Smith. Thank you. I was like totally drew a blank about, hey, bring in Alex Smith.
He's not healthy.
Well, but I thought he was out there practicing and looking good.
I think this is more of like, hey,
show.
We're letting him do his thing, but I don't think he's healthy enough, personally. That's why he's not suiting up. If he's healthy enough, he's going to at least suit up. He's a better backup than Kyle Allen. Why is Kyle Allen the backup over Alex Smith? He's not even suiting up on the sideline right now.
Yeah, I know that.
I don't think he's healthy enough. The only reason he's here is because if we cut him, we lose more money against the cap than if we keep him. That's the only reason why he's still here.
Yeah, I get it.
Next offseason, he's going to be gone. So right now, our backup is Kyle Allen. That's not a veteran QB. He may have been drafted just last year, too. I think he was a rookie last year as well. So that's not a veteran QB. So Haskins has to play, and that's where we're at. And I'm okay with it. I want him to go through his growing pains, learn behind Alex Smith as far as learn from him. He's not going to be behind it, but learn from him as much as possible. And I've heard Alex Smith is a fantastic teammate that does not hold anything back. If he thinks that he can help you in some sort of way, even as a competing quarterback, he's going to help you. He does not hold stuff back.
So let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's not a gotcha question, but which would you rather have? A quarterback that threw for 250 yards, 300 yards, and threw 3 picks, or a quarterback that throws for like 145 and doesn't get any picks?
That's two great choices there. I guess what is he doing with his legs? I have no clue. I mean, I don't want either of those quarterbacks, but which would I rather? I guess I would rather have the no picks. Because no turnovers at least allows other people to do well on your team. So I guess I would personally take no picks.
Okay, but if you're throwing for 300 yards and you get a couple picks, I know I think I said 3, but maybe that's an exaggeration. But if you're throwing for 300 or more yards and you're throwing a couple picks, I'd rather have that than somebody that's afraid to throw the ball and throws for 145 with no picks. Because in an entire game, 145 yards passing is not a lot. So, but if you're throwing for over 300, chances are you're scoring, some touchdowns. So would you rather have a safe guy that, you're, what's his name? I can't think of the Ravens quarterback that didn't score a touchdown for like 3 or 5 games in a row. They were winning games 6-3.
Trent Dilfer?
Dilfer, thank you. I kept wanting to say Trubisky, and I knew it wasn't him,
but I understand what you're saying, because it's like the let me answer this actually real quick. Dylan Zipper says, yeah, this is Haskins' 9th NFL game. He needs the rest of the year to play, and there will be a lot of bumps. And I agree with your sentiment. But back to your thing. I completely understand. It's like, I think it was one of the famous NBA coaches, I believe. Maybe it was Thompson. I think it was Georgetown's coach, John Thompson.
John Thompson.
Yeah. I believe he was the one that said, I would rather a calm, I'm going to butcher this quote, but I'll get the gist of it. I'd rather calm a crazy person than get something out of
wake up
a corpse.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. You're right.
And so I understand your sense. It's like Brett Favre's mentality. I'm going to freaking sling it, and it's going to work sometimes, and I'm going to throw 4 interceptions in one game, and I'm going to throw 5 touchdowns in the next game. Like, I understand your sentiment. I guess, so which would you rather have? I guess if I have time to build, I guess, yeah, taking more chances, learning from those mistakes, learning what did you see to make you think that that was a good throw, and now I know, wait a minute, that makes it not a good throw, stuff like that. I see your point. I guess, like, if you want to win games, less turnovers is better. So if, like, an Alex Smith, who did not flash, like, go crazy with his stats, but he won, he didn't win in the playoffs much, but he won everywhere he went. He had winning seasons all over the place, including Washington. So there's 2 schools of thought, because I guess, like, if you have the Brett Favre, you're going to win. I think he only won 1 Super Bowl. So you're going to win a Super Bowl, because when he's hot, he's hot. But then you're going to have 3-13 season, because when he's cold, he's cold. So it's a high and low.
Hold on a second. I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but something tells me that Alex Smith didn't average 145 yards a game.
It was a little bit better than that, probably 200, 210. Okay, but it's still not good.
But that's a different thing. 210 with no interceptions is different than 145. That's what I'm saying, is that, I would take 210 with no interceptions over 300 with
Well, Haskins had 223 with no interceptions, and I think last game he was in that 200. No, he was at 178. 178 and
I didn't think it was 178, but maybe I'm wrong. But I guess what I'm saying is that
175, something like that.
And I'm a Redskins fan. I want to win every game. That's just the way I am. I can't think, my logical mind can say this is a building year, but my heart wants to see them win. So I get that. But do we want Haskins to be so tentative and afraid to make mistakes? Or do we want him to go out there and try to play the game at the speed it needs to be played? And, hey, make mistakes. It's okay. To read the defense, make your choices. If you throw an interception, so be it. We'll talk about it afterwards, and we'll learn something from it. Is that better? Again, if we're thinking, hey, we have a team good enough to go to the Super, again, back to Dilfer with the Ravens. The Ravens had a defense that could make it to the Super Bowl. So they were telling Dilfer, don't lose the game. Just whatever you do, just manage the clock, get us minimal amount of points. Don't lose the game. That's fine. But we're not, everybody's saying, and I'm not arguing with them, that we are a building team.
So go out there, put it on the field. Don't leave anything off the field. I feel you.
Right. I'm not saying be a Brett Favre. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was, and I'm not.
Brett Favre's an all-time quarterback. If he's a Brett Favre, I'm not mad about Brett Favre. But I got a couple more comments here. All right, go ahead.
Okay. I was just going to say, or don't be a Rex Grossman, where you throw 5 touchdowns or 5 interceptions. Okay, go ahead.
But, all right, Leaves from the Vine, he goes, would you be more comfortable with Kirk Cousins as QB?
No.
Than Haskins?
0.
Okay. Does not want – I am not a huge Haskins fan, especially for the amount of money we had to pay.
No, you said Haskins. You meant
Oh, I'm sorry, Cousins. I'm not a Cousins fan. I did not like how much we were going to have to pay him. All right, Leaves from the Vine. I disagree. Wins are not a QB stat. Wins are a QB stat, but at the same time, I understand what you're saying because it's a team game. But Alex Smith won everywhere he went on all teams, including this Washington Redskins team. So there's something to being a game manager. And also, this is kind of controversial. Tom Brady is the ultimate game manager. The ultimate game manager. He is undefeated in the playoffs. Undefeated when he does not throw a touchdown. That is an incredible stat. He is the ultimate take what the defense gives you game manager, and he's won 6 Super Bowls because of it. Wins come from people that are game managers that takes what the defense gives you. I don't think even Haskins is taking what the defense gives you, but that's what Alex Smith did, and that's why he won a lot of games. So there is something to being a good game manager that wins you games, and it has a lot to do with what your QB is doing.
Okay, let's review this just real quick.
Yep.
In 2018, Alex Smith's passing stats. He was 62.5% completions and had 2,180 yards, 10 TDs to 5 interceptions. With the Chiefs in 2017, 67.5% with over 4,000 yards. That is not a conservative quarterback.
That's the only 4,000-yard season he's had in his entire career.
Okay, well, he had 3,500, 3,400, 3,200. At this rate, Dwayne Haskins is not going to get to 3,000.
Well, that's not good. But actually, at this rate, I think he is going to get to. He would be at like 3,200 yards. But anyway, nonetheless, which is not anything to brag about. But that year with Alex Smith, he had Tyreek Hill, and he had Kareem Hunt, who was insane, and he had Travis Kelce. The weapons were incredible, and he had Andy Reid designing that offense with that many weapons. So he actually was really good at throwing down the field because of the different weapons he has. But that's also what the defense was giving him, and he was taking it. He's an ultimate game manager.
He did not have Terry McLaurin.
I love Terry. He's not on their level yet.
Terry's a beast. But
all right, I got a couple more comments here. Spoiled AFib Gaming. See, right now your division is up for grabs. The Giants ain't doing good, especially they just lost Saquon. Eagles, you already know you'll have a wild card chance if Haskins turn up by the 6th game of the season. We do have a chance at the playoffs, but at the same time,
absolutely.
The Cowboys are really good this year, and they ended up coming back. But Spoiled Fig Gaming also says, y'all got this season, just Haskins got to let it loose, and he can't be cautious. All right, well, he agrees with you, Dad. Haskins needs to start firing.
One person in the whole world that agrees with me.
Thanks for being here, Spoiled AFib. You blew up his head even bigger than what it already is. All right. Well, let's close the chapter of the Cardinals game. We have now put that behind us, and we are going to move on to week 3, and that is the Cleveland Browns. And I got a bunch of stuff on them. Let's go through it real quick. Browns roster notes. So notable roster people on their team. We have Baker Mayfield. He's been inconsistent, and we can put some pressure on him, but just like you were talking about, he's a gunslinger. He's not afraid to throw it downfield.
Yep.
And also, he has a lot of weapons on offense. OBJ.
Is going to have to show up.
Yep. Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper in the air. And they have the best running back duo in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. These guys are legit, and they are the best at breaking tackles. Like, they have the best center of gravity anywhere. These guys are incredible. So that's the offense. Defensively, they have 2 really good defensive ends in Myles Garrett, number 1 overall pick, and Olivier Vernon, who they got from the Giants. Denzel Ward is a pretty good corner they have, and Carl Joseph was a first-round pick, and he's a decent safety from, I believe, West Virginia. So
Ward's going to be on McLaurin, is what you're saying.
Ward is probably going to be on McLaurin, yes. All right. Okay. So that's some roster stats for that, or notable roster people. All right. We got team stats. Browns are number 2 in total rushing yards, averaging 176.5 yards per game. They are really, really good at running the ball, as I said, with the 2 guys that I talked about. And so throwing the ball, they got crushed by the Ravens. But Baker didn't do a lot against the Bengals either, so they are down near the bottom when it comes to throwing offense. I believe they were 6th from the bottom. So not very good on the passing department right now. On defense, Burrow and Lamar did big damage in the air, putting their pass defense down to 6th worst in the NFL. Joe Burrow, we'll talk about him later. I got him on my Around the NFL. But Joe Burrow looked really good for the Bengals against this Browns defense. And then their run defense is ranked pretty high at number 6, which Joe Mixon's not a bad running back for Cincinnati, and obviously Ravens have one of the best run games in the NFL with Lamar, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins. So the run defense seems to be decent. But is there anything else that you want to add before I go into my 5 things Washington needs to do to beat the Browns?
No, I think that covers it. that I think I was just saying our secondary needs to show up. And our defensive line is going to do what they do, and they just need I think our secondary needs to be able to hold for 3 to 4 seconds in this game.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into it. Here you go. Here are my 5 things Washington needs to do to beat the Browns.
Only 5? Wow.
All right. And I'm going to read Spoil AFib Gaming's comment after my 5. All right, here's my 5. Yeah. Get a fast start. You do not want to start 17-0 against this run defense or run offense. They will wear you down and run it down your throat if you let them. Do not get a slow start. We need to take an early lead against this team to take away the run game as much as possible, because that is their strength of this team, is that run game. So start quickly, which we haven't done the last 2 weeks. All right. Number 2 thing we need to do to beat the Browns is very simple. It's what football's all about, but it's tackle the ball carrier. As I said earlier when I was talking about Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, these 2 guys are some of the best center of gravity running backs in the league. They can break so many tackles just by shedding off tacklers. Have to wrap these guys up. Let the cavalry come to finish the job, but keep them wrapped up. Do not let them shed your tackles. Very simple, but very, very important against this run team. Number 3, is we have to
count.
It's amazing. I'm a math major, believe it or not. But number 3 is we have to protect Haskins. Okay, they have 2 really good defensive ends that I talked about, Myles Garrett and Olivier Vernon, and these guys can get to the quarterback. But we have a beat-up offensive line, so we have to figure out a way, maybe keeping a tight end inside to help block, chip with the running back, do something to make sure that Haskins is upright. And that's our 1 turnover last week is by a bad block from Brandon Sheriff, or lack thereof a block. So
all right, so out of one out of the 3, I feel good about your need to do. Number 1 and number 3 are like, could go either way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Number 4 is, this is what we got to do every week, because our best position group is the defensive line, but we have to get to Baker Mayfield. And we've done a pretty good job getting to the quarterbacks. As I said, we couldn't tackle Murray last week because he was able to run away. Baker Mayfield is not going to run away from the likes of Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Matt Ioannidis, Ryan Kerrigan. These guys can get there, and we have to get pressure on Baker Mayfield to make, because he will make mistakes.
So is he more of a Carson Wentz than a Kyler Murray?
They could be comparable in a lot of ways. But he's not even close to Kyler Murray. He's not on Kyler Murray's level at all.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so game 1, the only reason why I brought that up, game 1, we sacked Wentz 8 times. Game 2, we sacked Kyler Murray 3.
Mm-hmm.
So if Baker Mayfield's more like a Carson Wentz, then we can feel better about the prospect of maybe putting him on his butt a few more times than 3.
Yeah, we could get to him quite a bit this game. Yes, that's something we're going to have to do. Because he will make mistakes if you get pressure. As I said, he's a gunslinger. He will throw it all over the place. And because of that, if we get some pressure on him, he will make mistakes with that football. And we got to capitalize on those. All right, the last thing is, this is becoming a broken record. This is something I say every single week, but it's extremely important, and Haskins has yet to do it, is hit the open man when it's like a 3rd down, but hit the open man coming across. I've said it now 3 weeks in a row, and he hasn't really been good at it any of those 3 weeks. So, but Burrow and Lamar ate this defense up. Okay? They tore this defense to pieces. Haskins has to do the same as the rookie Joe Burrow. And if he could do that, I think we can beat this Browns team. And that is my 5 things to do. Let me read these comments, and I'll let you talk. All right. So here's Spoiled AFib Gaming. He had a couple comments in a row. He says, stop the run game, and that's it. Lock up Chubb and Hunt. Y'all win. Your defensive line has the advantage. Cleveland's offensive line is trash. He also says, probably get to him like 6 times. So he thinks we're going to get to Baker a lot. And then he goes, I'll say open up the game attacking that secondary, which is what Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson did against this team. So you're not wrong there. What do you have to say, Dad?
Well, I was going to say, first of all, let me say he's not wrong, but I feel better about our defense putting Baker Mayfield on his butt than I do about our offense lighting up the secondary. Not saying it can happen, but and trust me, I will be there rooting them on, hoping for it all. But out of those two things, if I had to bet which one's more likely to happen, I would bet on the defense lighting up Baker Mayfield. But
that's fair.
But yeah, I think what I want to see and I know I brought this up early, so I don't want to sound like a broken record, but to Ron Rivera, thank you. I'm having trouble with names tonight. I'm sorry, but I want to see with his sense of the pocket that, again, after listening to Rivera say about his speed at going through his progressions, maybe he is, and I know this is sometimes an innate quality. I'm not sure it's something you can be taught, but to sense the pocket and realize that I have 5 seconds and I have 4 progressions. So each progression gets a second and a little over a second for each progression, and take his time going through the progressions, but still not hold the ball 7 or 8 seconds. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I think that's a key to me to see.
I would like that number be more down to 4 seconds. Like 3.5, 4 seconds is where you should be concerned where the pass rush is. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Hold on. I got a couple of errors overall, but I should be better now. Hold on. Yep, go ahead.
All this technical stuff, but okay. So 5 seconds was too much, but you get my point.
Yeah.
That you can't
slow it down a little bit. The game needs to slow down for him. I'm with you.
Right. So I'd like to see him stay with the receiver that fraction of a second longer and go through his progressions and then learn to feel the pocket. Like they always said that if you have a certain amount of, like if the pocket stays open in front of you, you have a chance to step up. You stay back, and then after about 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds, you step up into that pocket. You now know the clock is ticking because there's now guys behind you can't see. And then if you have a little space to your left, you shift over to that space in the left. Not because you have to, but it's like if there's anybody there, I just shift over to this little spot, and it buys me that little bit more time.
Tom Brady's the best at that. Yeah, just making those small movements in the pocket to avoid a QB hit.
Exactly. Not putting your head down and running, but just simply know, hey, there's an opening here. I can shift over 3 or 4 feet. And if there's a guy, I don't even have to look. If there's a guy behind me, I just bought myself another 1.5 seconds or whatever that timing is. And to see him progress to do that to where he gets a little more relaxed. And then to your point, accuracy. And I'm sorry, I still think somebody made the point earlier. He's only started 9 games. So I'm not like ready to throw him on the trash heap. So that's going to come with experience. But I think that he's probably still pumped up, that with adrenaline and being hyped up, throwing the ball accurately is probably somewhat difficult. And then when you overthrow a ball, the next one you compensate by throwing it into the dirt. I want to see him get better in the pocket. And then 2, I want to see if maybe Scott Turner can get a little bit more creative with the run game, like a little bit more out, read options. Maybe that's not the best thing for Haskins, but to basically do some misdirection and stop so much running off tackle.
Well, I think they did a good job. I think they did a good job about variety in the run game against the Eagles. I don't think that they necessarily read that they needed to do as much variety against a weaker Cardinals front 7, which I don't think they were necessarily wrong about. It's just, as I said earlier, they just didn't have time to run the ball, or they couldn't run the ball because they got so far behind. But a couple more comments here. We got Spoiled A Fib Giving in. He goes, okay, I could take this one of 2 ways. Because he says, keep the Browns on the sidelines. He could just be talking about the offense, like we want to keep the offense by keeping the ball, or he could talking about more of a joking way of how we beat the Browns is we keep them on the sidelines. Like just the whole team just stays on the sidelines and let us play. All right, and
so we line the whole field right next to them and not let anybody on the field.
We put our whole defense to let them stay off the field. So that could take it two ways.
We got away with that.
Yeah, okay. Spoiled AFib Gaming says offensive way. All right, I figured I was just joking around. All right.
Hey, by the way, he was just trying to be funny and he came up short. So.
There you go. I got one person laughing, me. All right. So Dexter Jester says, as Cooley stated today on his podcast with Sheehan, our offense is a high school level offense right now, and if Haskins can't make the right progressions now, yikes.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I'm not saying I'm convinced he's right, but I can see the logic behind that.
Ouch. I love Cooley personally. I take a lot of whatever Cooley says. I take a lot of pride in it. So if you're correct, and that's exactly what Cooley said, I am worried.
Yeah.
When Cooley says something, it's big deal.
No, I agree with you 100%. The only thing I'll say to that is that, okay, Haskins is in his second year, and like a lot of quarterbacks go through it, it's not unique to him, is that he's now second year, new head coach, new offensive coordinator. So in reality, especially with the young guy, he's in his rookie season again. Mm-hmm. He's learning this whole different thing, and he wants to impress the new coaches, so he's tentative. And yes, you're right. Cooley might be 100% right. If he can't master this, he has no chance. And there was a couple times on Sunday that the people I were watching with going, he's not the guy. Just watching some panic and being scared and being tentative. I'm not saying I agree with that, but you see it. It's like, okay, he doesn't look comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think last year he looked comfortable. He just looked more confident, and
especially towards the end of the season.
Yes.
Towards the end of the season, he had a lot more confidence. I agree.
But maybe we need to do that this year of allowing him acting like he's a rookie again, because he's got a whole nother system he's trying to learn, and see if, like next week, I've got to be honest with you, if next week he's not accurate and he's throwing the ball in the dirt and he's holding the ball too long and he gets sacked a bunch of times, then I'm going to start really questioning it. But if he makes some progressions where it's like, okay, he's settling into the offense. He's starting to know what he's supposed to do. He's starting to command a little bit of authority back there, like he belongs there. Like I said, a lot like what I thought I saw he didn't even play. What did he play last year? He started playing the 6th game.
He came in against, I believe, the Giants week 3, and then he played his first game, I believe, against the Vikings. And then he started. He got his first win against the Lions, but I think it was the Vikings that he started, whichever week that was. But no, and he started terrible. No, his first start I think was the Jets. The first start I think was the Jets. I think he did come in for a hurt Case Keenum against the Vikings, and then his first start I believe was the next week against the Jets, where he did not play well at all.
So, and again, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt this year, and that I want to see progression. You got some edge rushers here, so he's going to get some pressure, but to start have confidence in himself and start sensing his surroundings without having to look. It's like if you move a few steps this way, you bought yourself a second to a second and a half. You don't have to look back to make sure it's a second and a half. It might be 2 seconds, but you just know I bought myself this much time. I don't have to look. And sometimes you get, you're wrong, but I need to see more of that, of just sensing his surroundings.
Fair enough.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. I'm just listening to you talk. But no, all right. It is 8:00. Do you need to get off here, or do you want to go around the NFL a little bit, or?
No, we can wrap it up and spend a couple minutes just going around all this crap. But yeah, I have a few more minutes.
All right, here we go. All right, well, let's go around the NFL a little bit. Oh, actually, sorry, we didn't do our prediction. We didn't predict this Browns game. What do you got? What's your prediction?
I think the defense shows up. I think they put Baker Mayfield on his butt a number of times, maybe get a couple turnovers. And I think with that in mind, that the Redskins, I don't think it's going to be a real high-scoring game, maybe 20-17, because I don't picture our offense, blowing up. I hopefully eventually they will, but I'm going to go 2017 Redskins.
I am going to go with a little optimism this week. And I am predicting my first prediction of a win. And I actually think this offense does do pretty well. And we win this game 30-20 with some turnovers, get some good field position. We get some offense going, and we win this game 30-20. And we hold that run game, and we make Baker Mayfield turn the ball over. 3 turnovers on the day from Baker Mayfield, whether that be all picks, couple fumbles, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I predict 3 turnovers coming from Baker Mayfield alone, and we actually take this W 30-20, and this is the first time that I have predicted us to win this year.
Yeah, I must feel like we switched positions here, although I predicted a win, but yeah, you sounded much more like me.
What does that mean? It's probably a bad thing. All right, let's go around the NFL a little bit. All right, we got injuries galore. Have you followed any of these injuries?
Yeah, I was watching. I think I saw the same report you did about all the ACLs.
Yes, 7 torn ACLs according to Adam Schefter this week. Crazy amount of injuries, but you have a lot of top tier guys. Saquon Barkley, done, out for the season. Christian McCaffrey is going to be out for a few weeks due to an injury. Nick Bosa, big defensive lineman for the Niners, out. Which all of those teams we play this year, which could be a big deal later down the road. We could get a couple of wins against the Giants without their best player in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
that could be big.
He's worn us out.
Oh my God, he's destroyed us the last 2 seasons. So yeah, no, it's crazy how many injuries. Other things is Cowboys did their huge comeback to beat the Falcons. Did you watch that onside kick?
Yeah, I was going to say that, and if you watch it again, there was an Atlanta guy that before it went to the 10-yard, it was not at 10 yards yet, and I think he got sucked into what everybody else was doing, which is Dallas couldn't touch it until it went 10 yards.
Right.
And he backed up like 3 or 4 feet where he could have just stepped in and if Dallas had done anything and touched it, it would have been over. But he backed up as far as the Cowboys did.
It's nuts. It's really nuts. We already talked about it a little bit. Joe Burrow looked really good for the Bengals. He went 37 of 61 completions. They had him throw a second game quarterback 61 times. Insane. I agree. Actually, right? Spoiled AFib gaming. The Falcons be choke artists. This is ridiculous. Yeah. They obviously have the Super Bowl win or the Super Bowl loss.
Flashback to being up by 28 or whatever and losing.
But they are one of the best teams year in and year out. They're similar to the Chargers. One of the best teams on paper. This team every year can do something fantastic. Every year they stink, except for that one year they went to the Super Bowl. But because even when they got to the Super Bowl, they did the biggest choke job you've ever seen in your entire life, 28-3.
It reminds me of Marty Schottenheimer teams.
It's so stupid. I just dislike the freaking Falcons right now.
Think of the Chargers when Marty Schottenheimer was a coach with LaDainian Tomlinson. They were lights out during the season, and they always figured out a way to screw it up in the playoffs. They made it into the playoffs but somehow they always screwed it up and choked at some point, never won the big game. So
AFid Gaming is a Saints fan, and so he says he's enjoying this. He loves to see the rival fans do it. But hey, Dexter Jester, I did not miss your comment. I just wanted to wait until I had Justin Herbert, and because he goes right here. He says, Dexter Jester says, Justin Herbert was told he was the starter against the Chiefs 5 minutes before the game and took the Super Bowl champs to overtime. You either have it or you don't. Yep. Let me tell you, 22 of 33 completions, 66%, almost 67, 316 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, along with 7 carries and 19 yards. No, sorry. That was Joe Burrow. I misread the thing. 22 for 33, 311 yards and 1 touchdown, but he also had a rushing TD and only 1 interception against, as he said, the Super Bowl champs. Justin Herbert looked really good, and I liked him coming out of college. I thought he had a huge arm. He's a big dude, like 6'4", 220 pounds, 225 pounds, or something like that. I like Justin Herbert, and I agree. He came out, and he really, really, really did well. AFib Gaby says, I like that kid. He reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger. Hard to take him down. That's it. I think he has a little bit more mobility than Ben, but I could see your point. He is a big dude and big arm. I really like Justin Herbert.
I was going to make a joke about Ben in a bathroom stall, but I actually really like Ben. So I was going to do it sheerly out of fun, not out of malice, but I couldn't come up with a good one. So
yeah, we're not going to go there anymore. All right.
But no, I like Ben. I know a lot of people that look down on Ben. I don't. I think it's all a bunch of crap. So don't. Whatever I was going to say was I was going to try to be funny, and I came up short.
All right, let's get out of this conversation quick.
Yeah.
Someone
turn.
Someone has forgotten to tell Gardner Minshew the Jaguars are tanking. Who forgot to tell him these things? They took Buffalo down to the wire. Gardner Minshew has been insane this year. He has 6 touchdowns so far this season, and they won a big game against the no, wait, Buffalo played Miami. Who did they play this week? Who did Jacksonville play? They took him to the wire, whoever it was.
Oh my
Buffalo
God!
played
Why
Miami.
can't I think of?
Somebody in the comments. Who told me? Who did they play?
No, I remember watching this game. Hold on.
I got it right here. Hold on. That was week 1.
Was it like Tennessee or Houston or
Tennessee? That's it. Tennessee. They took Tennessee, a really, really good defensive team, and he had 30 for 45 completions, 339 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did throw 2 picks, but he had 3 touchdowns last week against a really good Colts team. Who is going to be the one to tell him, hold up. We're trying to lose games right now, okay?
But Tim, think about it. They're tanking for a quarterback in the draft, and the one guy that didn't get the message is the guy that is their quarterback right now.
Oh, I'm totally saying this in jest. It's just hilarious because you heard all of this stuff in the beginning that the Jaguars were going to tank this season. Like that was the big thing coming out of the offseason is the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to tank for Trevor, or tank for whoever, and freaking Gardner Minshew is coming out slinging this ball, and this is where Jay Gruden thrives. Offensive coordinator. This guy can freaking draw up a pass offense. Okay? Draw it up like nobody else. He is really, 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 really good at drawing up a pass offense. So I am not surprised that this offense is actually looking really good with a decent quarterback in Gardner Minshew. He made Andy Dalton look like he was a contender of a top 10 quarterback, which he was not. And this guy made it look really good. So good for Jay Gruden, good for Gardner Minshew. They did take a tough loss. They lost 33-30, I believe. If I remember correctly, looking it up now. Yes, 33-30. Tough loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it's fun to see Gardner Minshew play so well.
I think if they were really serious about this, what they should have done is talk to the receivers and the linemen and not told Minshew. Because I think as soon as he heard that, then he was like, oh, you think you need another quarterback? Here, let me show you what I can do.
Yeah, you don't.
Which maybe that was the coach's intent was, hey, let me light a fire under this guy and let it get out that we're going to tank to get another quarterback because we don't think you're the guy.
Yeah, he is tied for second in the TD department.
Dan Orlovsky, and we are going to talk.
There you go.
Tied for second. All right. Well, that's all I got. Did you have anything else this weekend that you wanted to talk about?
I do not. I think it was a good conversation. I'm looking forward to what I hope is a 2-1 record. Dallas doesn't deserve to be 1-1. Atlanta is a clown of a team. But, hey, we're sitting atop the division. And I just hope that we can put Baker Mayfield on his butt and that we're talking about a win next week.
I'm with you. I like it. All right. Thank you, everybody that joined us live and put your comments in there. I love to see it. Please join us again.
Thank you for all the humorous posts. I appreciate it. And for the guy that agreed with me, thank you.
Yeah, that's one in a row. You're actually banned from this chat from now on. You are not allowed to come back. No, of course I'm kidding. Thank you. Spode Forgiving says he loves team rivals. I love the rivalry aspect. I hate the teams that we rival against. No, I was kidding. But anyway, no. But thank you for sticking around to the end. I'm going to go live again on Thursday night after the game. I go right after the clock hits zeros. I go live right after the Redskins game on Sunday, and I will also go live Sunday night game and Monday night game. So please join me live there. And we will be live again next Tuesday at 7 o'clock for Skins in the Game. And please like, subscribe, do all the good stuff for our channel. We've already experienced quite a bit of growth for my channel size since the start of the season. So I'd like to thank everybody new that has subscribed as of late in the last week and a half or so. So thank you for that.
Yep.
And
spread the word.
Spread the word. And thank you. And